Goddess T's Journey. Like, comment below, subscribe. Hey YouTube, this is Goddess, and I'm doing a review of Married at First Sight, episode 12. So this episode, everybody was meeting with Dr. Pepper, and then Clint talked with his dad about Gina and how things were going. And then also Eris met Jasmine's mom, and he was basically like talking about their relationship and how she's not, opening up and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm like going towards the end. I started at the beginning. They met with Dr. Pepper too. And then Chris and Nicole were doing yoga at the beginning of the episode with a goat. I was like, what are these people doing? So now the dad has grown to like Chris from what he said. And he actually has his respect from what the dad was saying this episode. So I said, okay, last episode he needed to have big D energy. Now this episode, I guess it's been a couple of weeks now, he respects him now. Okay, dad. Okay, one minute you don't like, you like iffy about him, next minute you like him. Okay, dad. Then the next thing that happened on episode, because this episode was, to me, these episodes are just filler episodes. I really wish Decision Day would just hurry up and come. They're just like dragging this season out to me. Like they need to like just hurry up because it's kind of dry. I want to see after Decision Day because that's when all the tea and stuff is happening. And it seems like Shaq and Kirsten got a little bit closer this episode. They were kissing and everything was very interesting. So, first couple to meet with Dr. Pepper this episode was Kirsten and Shaq. So basically, Kirsten was just saying how, she's not, basically she was basically talking about how she wants like more time and how both of them, how basically Pepper was basically getting them to open up a little bit more, me a little bit vulnerable, ask them to talk about like their lives growing up, things like that. So of course, Shaq always, talks first and gives what he's going through. And like their part didn't really stick out that much, but she was basically talking about how, she wants more kisses and how he was saying that she did say that, but I guess he's not doing it. So I think Dr. Pepper was just saying you need to give her more leeway and like if she wants it, to give it to her, because you got to get past the kisses on the top of the head and stuff. You got to do more. You gotta kiss her, so because we gotta get past that, we gotta do a little bit more. So I was like, she got a point. She did kind of ask for it. So I guess if you're really trying and you really want it to work, you gotta do more than that. Because for me, if you're married and you want her to, I guess, be more attracted to you, you gotta do little things. So this episode, he did it. They asked each other questions. They talked a little bit more, but they did some body painting this episode. He painted her. He put whipped cream in her mouth and kissed her and put some strawberries in her mouth. That was very interesting. I said, you better get it. Okay, Shaq. Shaq was putting it in. I said, you better get it, Shaq. Okay. I said, you better get it. That was cute, I guess. But I don't know if they really going to make it, though, even though they get to that point. It seems like they consummate their marriage after that, I think. Or maybe it's next week they did or whatever. So we're going to see how their relationship changes after they've had sex or whatever. It's very interesting. And then the next couple to meet with Dr. Pepper was Eris and Jasmine. So they were talking or what have. And basically she was trying to get them to open up and talk a little bit more. And she was talking about how she had, had low self-esteem. Jasmine was saying how she had low self-esteem, and she was basically opening up the reason why, she is the way she is, and how now the person she with isn't feeling her, and how it's making her feel. And I really didn't like how Dr. Pepper was kind of talking to her, like as if making it seem like she can't have her feelings. You tell her to open up, she opens up, and then you start like not telling her, oh, well, he's exactly, he's 39 years old, so he should know how to express himself at this point. No offense, but Jasmine is not his therapist, and that's not her job to deal with his past stuff. He should have went to therapy before he got into a marriage then. What are you talking about? And this is the reason why she doesn't open up and talk to him. This is why she's closed off part of, and then she talked about her growing up too, as well, a little bit about how, how it is and how she tells her students, you know, to like be themselves and to believe in themselves and have the confidence and to stand up for themselves, stuff like that. So Pepper was telling her she needs to stand up for herself, and whatever's happening, maybe it's not with you, it doesn't matter. She's in a marriage, so it does have to do with her, because he's already told her millions of times that he's not interested or like her body. So that has to do with her, because if he doesn't like her body, she's not his preference. She's not his preference. What more do you want her to do? And my whole thing is, now he wants to dig deep, and now he want to buy her flowers and stuff and all this. Is a little bit too late, bro, because you done said it so many times, like it's already embedded in her head. And they were doing the questions that she said she wanted Eris to open up, and Dr. Pepper told him that he's gonna have to work on more, getting deeper with her. So they had the questions, and she didn't even want to do the questions anymore, because I think she's checked out and she's not interested in dealing with Eris anymore, because she's given as much as she can give. And she was a preacher's daughter, and you know how that is growing up. Like, she's closed off now. It's enough that she has a hard time communicating as it is, because she admitted that because her parents got into it and never used to argue from her, she doesn't know the correct how to communicate how she feels and to get it out, to say things and stuff like that. So she did admit it, but her and Aries, it ain't finna work. It ain't finna work. And I'm seeing little scenes. It looks like Shaq and Jasmine are something finna happen between them two. Okay. I said, so they finally gonna put them together now. Okay. It's looking very interesting. See, they we not gonna see no juicy stuff until close to decision day, it seemed like, because they keep showing the thing about Mac in the DM, but then they never show it. I think that they're going to show that after decision day and talk about what he did during the season. I'm starting to think that that's what they're finna do, and I'm just like, that's messed up. So I didn't like Dr. Pepper, how she was, like I said, talking to my girl, Jasmine, because Jasmine doesn't need to open up to him. What's the point of her opening up to him? He doesn't like her. He doesn't want to be with her. So how much more opening up you think she's going to continue to do if he don't want to really like her and he doesn't want to be with her? And like she said, she had low self-esteem growing up. So being in a marriage with a person that doesn't like you and constantly keeps saying that's going to lower your confidence, especially when you're attracted to them and they don't want you. And it's probably reminding her of what you went through growing up. And like I said, Dr. Pepper was kind of wrong how she was talking to her. It's like she didn't want to hear where she was coming from, but she wanted to sit here and have people baby Eris and we gotta listen. It's like, okay, he been through some deaths and maybe he has abandonment issues like you saying, but that has nothing to do with her though. She's not doing anything to show him that she's gonna abandon him. All she's been doing is showing and proving that she's a dependable and loyal and good person. And it's still not enough for him. He keeps bringing up the fact he don't like the way she looks and all this other stuff, and she's not his preference. So my whole thing about his abandonment issues and the preference have nothing to do with what you were saying, and what he was saying was totally two different things. And what he brought up there, you see what I'm saying? When people go in front of the experts, they put on facades and they play little games. But when they're alone and they have camera time, he's totally different towards her. The way he was acting there, it's just like, go sit down. Now, all of a sudden, Eris, you want her to open up and talk to you. But when she was trying to talk to you and open up to you, she been open and talking, you couldn't take it. You didn't want it. So my whole thing is, no, bro. I wouldn't want to deal with your ass either. I wouldn't even open up no more. I would throw in the towel weeks ago. I would have done what Dominique did way long ago with Eris, because it's a waste of time. Because Dr. Pepper is showing and proving what how society is. It's like you babying a grown man. This man is almost 40 years old. Why do we need to keep feeling sorry for him and there's no compassion for Jasmine? Like, abandonment, I had a lot of deaths, blah, blah, blah. But he could have easily talked to her about it a long time ago. But he chose, when he meets you, now he wants to talk about it. He should have opened that up to her, because she asked him questions and stuff on the camera and off the camera. I know she be asking him stuff. And he chooses not to talk about it. Every time they meet with the thing, then all of a sudden people want to open up and start talking. Just like Dr. Pepper was talking to Gina and Clint. and Gina and Clint. And Clint was talking, and Clint came at Dr. Pepper, and I was happy he did, because he stood up for himself, because I really don't like how she be talking to people. Oh, you need to ask a question somewhere. No, he don't need to ask nothing. If she want to open up, then she should open up. How many different ways do you want him to open up? He's opened up way too much. She needs to start taking some part. Oh, he don't be asking deeper questions. He be trying to ask deeper questions, but she the one who don't want to go there with him, because she really don't like him. So she putting it off on him when it's really her. Like, she don't like Clint like that, and she don't want to like Clint, because she ain't even trying. Clint is a cool and fun guy. Like he's a cool person. Like, she don't want to get to know him. Oh, I don't want a friendship, but let's be real. Y'all didn't meet each other on a regular way that couples meet each other. So my whole thing is, you don't want to meet. You don't want a friendship, or whatever you were saying with the scenes for next episode. But my whole thing is that you're putting him in the friend zone. So that's your own fault. You're not acting like you want to get past a certain thing, and he's not going to push it, because he wants it to be organic. And he's so fun. Like, he was talking with his dad, talk about how he's an open book, and that he wants to ask her questions, and he'll probably try something else to ask questions. But my whole thing is, all these people on the show are adults. If you want to open up. It's not that hard. I guess people need more prodding than others. But my whole thing is, if I'm talking to someone and they're trying to get to know me, you ask me certain questions, I'm going to answer the question. Just like when Aries, I'm not understanding why people feel the need, or Dr. Pepper, or some of the people that are closed off, are expecting people to keep trying to pull teeth, like act like they're a dentist, and pulling a hard tooth out your mouth. Like, it's either you want to open up or you don't. Like, for me, I'd have gave up on these people, because at this point, it's like, y'all are adults, okay? You're not babies. And I didn't say you've been through trauma, but everybody has been through some type of traumatic thing. Like Gina admitted when they did the questions about her growing up with a single mom, and how hard it was for her, and how she had to be pushed to be independent early on, and how that made her feel. But even in families where people have two parents, that's what it is. Especially if you have siblings, your parents push you. If you're a older person, or older person in your family, you're pushed to be independent earlier. So she has the same upbringing of when, you have both parents, because you can have both parents and you still will get pushed to be independent early. Because if you have siblings and your parents work all the time to take care of you, depending on your socioeconomic, your parents' financial standpoints, or where your neighborhood is, and your parents have to work more because they don't have enough income, you can have the same upbringing that Gina has. So my whole thing is, I understand she's been through stuff, but I'm happy she finally opened up and talked about it with him. But it seems like people have to push these people to do it, and it's like, Clint is cool, so I don't understand it. Then Eris was getting on my nerves too, like complaining, oh, well, she's not opening up to me. I asked her her favorite color, and I could say it's blue, blah, 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 but I'll ask and she'll say it's pink, and that's it. So what? Maybe she just likes pink. Maybe there's not a reason, big story like you, about the reason why she likes pink. And first of all, asking someone their favorite color is not a deep question. That is a very simple question. What's your favorite color? Pink. Anytime you ask anybody's question, they're just going to tell you. A lot of people are not going to give you a long standpoint or long story, so he needs to go somewhere. Like, he does open up, and that's nice and everything, but he still hasn't opened up to her about the reason why he can't get past the fact that he's not attracted to her. He's not opening up about that. And for me, he's not being 100 his own self. So how does he expect her to keep opening herself up because he's breaking her down? She already admitted with Dr. Pepper there, and Dr. Pepper was not nice or understanding about her, but she wanted her to appease him and keep appeasing him. Like, fuck what you saying, Dr. Pepper. She'd appeased him enough. Please. He needs to appease her and understand where she comes from in her life. He doesn't think that she done been through some stuff. She just said it. She been through low self-esteem and not being popular and not being treated the best in her life, and having low self-esteem because she wasn't popular in school. So you don't think that affected her life, and being born into a preacher's family and having to look a certain way and to behave a certain way and not being able to behave a certain way because she had a family like that? That affects people. That's probably why she's like that. And she admitted because her parents didn't argue in front of her, that she, and didn't tell her how to communicate, and she didn't really know, and it didn't really explain to her that that's the reason why she doesn't communicate. And that happens a lot with Black families, where we don't know how to communicate, even if her parents seem like they copacetic. But in other Black families, you have parents that they argue a lot. and they scream and yell, and that's how you are in your relationship because you don't know any better because that's what you've seen as well. So she's affected in the other spectrum or the lower spectrum side where she's not going off and getting crazy. She just don't want to communicate, period. Like, she don't like confrontation. So that's what she's trying to tell him. She's not a confrontational person. You are Aries. You like to, but that's not her. So that's what she's trying to tell you. Like, he needs to be more understanding of her because it doesn't seem like he cares about how she feel about nothing. It's all about catering to Aries. That's what it seems like the Dr. Pepper was saying, and I kind of didn't like her attitude. And then I kind of like how Clint got in her ass. That shit was funny. You need to get on her because that's what she deserves because she got her nerve to try to tell you something. Like, how are you to be sitting here telling me? Like, lady, please. I do not like Dr. Pepper. They need to replace her, in my opinion, and find somebody else because no offense to her, like, she came in all late and now she got something to say all of a sudden. It's just like, lady, have several. I'm not really feeling you at all. Because you're a pain, and I just don't like how she was coming at Jasmine, no offense. And I didn't like how she was coming at Clint either. Oh, she has a different style. That's her problem. He's constantly trying with her. He's constantly like trying to do things that are organic because when you're asking people certain questions, you got to ask, oh, how was it growing up with your mom and da da da. Like she should want to open up. That's my whole thing. You're living. This is the whole point of being with somebody and being married to someone is to be like that with them. And I understand it's not a traditional marriage, but yeah, Gina's full of garbage, malarkey. She's full of it. I'm done with her. Like she ain't really trying. She opened up a little bit, but my whole thing is I was agreeing with him when he talked to Dr. Pepper. No. And then, Chris and old girl was talking, Chris and Nicole was talking to Dr. Pepper too, but I really didn't listen to their talk. I walked out for a little while because I'm getting kind of bored with it. It's like they're stretching it out too far for me. It's getting kind of boring. And then this episode, she was at the gym. I was like, go Nicole, showing people that this girl is working out because she looks really good. Her body is solid. Okay, she looking good. She was at the gym with him and he was here. He go again talking about his exes and she was talking about, her insecurities because they was asking the questions. And she was talking about the fact that, the women that were with him weren't worthy of him and, she's here and they didn't deserve him. I'm just like, girl, you don't even know him. How you know that any of the things that he's saying is the truth? Mr. Chris tries too hard, in my opinion, to be like, he's not being 100 about everything. He tries too hard to be the victim for every time when it comes in regards to his exes. He tries to make it seem like he didn't do nothing wrong. That's my whole thing. Like, if you're going to tell the story, tell the full story. And Chris is not telling the full story. He was not no innocent bystander in that whole relationship. I don't believe it. Even if he was going over backwards, he did some things too that wasn't right, and he's not telling the full story. Just like I like Nicole, how Nicole did talk about how the guy did it and how and I believe her, but she's still, to me, she's a little bit more honest than him. He's too much trying to play the victim, like he perfect and stuff, and that he didn't do nothing wrong, and that it was only the other people and it wasn't him. She admitted like she was wrong for allowing the guy to put the cigarette on her and how she shouldn't have never done that, and she was wrong, and how messed up she was to allow someone to do that to her. But he doesn't admit that he does anything wrong. He just makes it seem like it's the women and, oh, they didn't treat me right, and he's just trying to be too innocent for me. You're not that innocent. Everybody's made mistakes in relationships. That's not finna fly, bro. It's not finna fly. So I'm not believing your story that you innocent and these exes. I want to see his exes now because I keep hearing this every week. He needs to get it together. I'm getting sick of him. And I'm getting sick of Eris too. He's starting to get on my nerves. Now you want her to open up, but I think it's too late now. It's too late now. She don't want to open up. I think that she's checked out all the way. She's done. She's not picking him at the end either. She's done. She's checked out. I was happy to see that Eris did meet with her mom and say how, she wanted to be in a mom. Said she would pray for them and that, how, and gave him more insight about how she's not about herself and she doesn't consider how she feels and she cares more about other people, which she showed that she's catering to him and she's not getting nothing back, and she doesn't stand up for herself and say anything. She just stands back because she's used to being recluse and quiet and not saying her opinion because she doesn't want to complicate stuff and she doesn't want to cause a problem. So then she's like, ooh, I'm not going to say nothing. That's how I see it. She doesn't want to say nothing because she doesn't want confrontation. And that's how she grew up, feeling, and that's just how she is, and it's hard for her to express herself. But Dr. Pepper already told her to express herself, but she ain't finna do it. She's checked out, like I said, and she ain't finna do it. She ain't finna mess with him. She ain't picking him at the end, clearly. And they showing some clips that look like her and Shaquille are connecting. And like I said, this episode, Shaq and Kirsten look like they've consummated their marriage, and they're kissing a whole lot more. And she's showing a little bit more affection. It doesn't seem genuine on Kirsten's side. It seems more genuine on Shaq's side. Like, he's trying his best. The body painting thing was a very good idea, and it was really cute. And it really showed, like, he took in consideration what Dr. Pepper said and what she said. She wanted more body contact. She wanted more feeling. She wanted more touching. So I am with my friend Shaq, and Shaq is trying. But I don't know what's happening, because it looked like they did something, then they started acting weird towards each other afterwards. So I don't know if it was smart for him to consummate his marriage with her. I don't know. It's looking kind of weird. It's just like, how they play the clips and make it seem one way, and then the next week it's not going to be that. So I think that they're just trying to mess with people with the clips that they play in previews and stuff. But this episode was pretty good. But yeah, I don't like Dr. Pepper. They need to replace her. She's not helpful, in my opinion. Like, her attitude and the way she be talking, coming at people with attitudes and being real. It's like, no, that's not the way you talk to people, man. You need to chill out. I didn't like the way she was talking to Jasmine. And Clint got her together. That was funny. It was good for her. I don't like Dr. Pepper. But this is my review of Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 12. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think about the episode. Talk to you later, YouTube. Bye.